Hello everyone, hi! This is Mitta, your astrology journalist, because I break the news before the news even happened today. We are focusing on Candace Owens and Brigitte Macron. They are having a legal battle right now. Yes, it is a relationship, even though it is a relationship between enemies. They are enemies in terms of the legalities. Now, this is Synastry Expert channel. I deal with all types of relationships. I help you decipher the dynamics between you and your lover, your husband, your wife, your ex, your side person, family dynamics. I also do that between parents, family members. I also look at relationships, with colleagues when it comes to the organizational synastry, or if you're going to fit in an organization. I also look at that. If you are hiring, I help you hire the right people by looking at the profile and see if they will fit your company. I also look at the geo synastry, whereby I look at your chart against the chart of a city, of a country, and see if you will be successful, happy, and all of these things. And finally, I also look at the geopolitical synastry, which I enjoy and love, whereby I look at the relationships between countries and leaders, because those are important in our lives. Whatever they are deciding upon, it affects us directly as people, and we can also be able to function in our personal lives or personal relationships. So let's get into this legal battle between Candace Owens and Brigitte Macron. I am a legal minder, and I love to look at these types of legal cases and this is one of those. I will not be looking at the controversy, where it's coming from. Therefore, I'm not going to talk about the chart of Madame Brigitte Macron. I will only talk about it within the context of this legal case. So let's get into it. Do check out my website. I have included the most desired and requested service ever, which is predictions. Many people have seen my predictions and how I predict things up to the finest detail, and regarding the who, what, when, how, why, all of these questions, I answer them to the specific detail without hesitance and without giving doubt to people. And so I have had lots of people emailing me, asking me where can I book this. I don't see it on the side, I don't see it on the side, and I'm like, okay, finally let me just include it, because I always wanted to just focus mostly on the relationships. But people are saying, we've seen your work, we've seen your magic, we want that magic applied in our lives too. And so that service is up now. You can book, and I will predict what will happen to your life. And remember, I don't have a time limit. You can ask me what is going to happen to you tomorrow or the day after, and I will be able to tell you as well. And remember, always I have to use the word relative, so that our science can be accepted in this world. Now, Candace Owens, born 29 April 1989. She's American. And Brigitte Macron, Madame Brigitte Macron, born 13th April 1953 in France. So, first of all, when I looked at this whole story, I was like, you know what, Candace, I kind of like fear for you, because you're going against power. How is your chart looking like? And then I opened up the chart. I'm like, wow, okay, she's got a strong chart. That is why she is going against Madame Brigitte Macron. And it's because of her chart. Her chart is really strong. I do not have her birth time. I do not want to calculate her birth time. I am occupied with a lot of stuff, and I don't want to spend time on rectifying her birth time for the sake of this segment. It will just not do much good. So yeah, I am working without an ascendant for her. And Brigitte Macron, Madame Brigitte Macron, is a Leo ascendant, very Leo-like, and she was born to be in the spotlight. She was born to be, amongst the leaders of this world for sure. Her chart is very strong in terms of, being high up, in the classes of this world. She was not born to be a mere person like us, right? So why Candace? Why is Candace adamant in looking at Madame Brigitte's story, and why she's so adamant to not give up on the story, and why is she pushing? Why? What's the fascination, about her? Madame Brigitte, So there is an astrological explanation. Now, first of all, I'm just going to address why there are so many rumors and controversies and controversial things around the name of Madame Brigitte Macron. It is because she's got a Lilith on her ascendant, and as I have told you guys so many times before, and I've shown you in several charts, Lilith on the ascendant or Lilith on the 10th house will bring enormous scandals, controversies against you, people just saying n'importe quoi about you, or you could be also implicated in certain scandals yourself, because it is the ascendant, and therefore it does make sense. So she's got that Lilith, so this is why there are a whole lot of controversial things around her and around her life altogether, because remember there were controversies as well about President Macron, and it is because if the Lilith is on the ascendant, it's definitely going to affect the 7th house automatically, which is the spouse, right? So I'm not going to go into the details of the charts, because this is not the purpose of this segment. The segment is focusing solely on the legalities. And so Candace Owens has her Ketu attached or overlaying on the ascendant of Madame Brigitte Macron. And remember, Ketu, when it comes to attach itself on somebody's ascendant in an overlay, that person will be just embarrassed. The Ketu person will embarrass their ascendant person, and particularly because this Ketu attaches itself on a Leo ascendant, it is here to humble the king, as I always preach this, that when Ketu goes into a Leo sign or being attached to Sun, it is all about humbling the Sun person or the Leo person. And so this is the lesson, the life lesson. And of course, in real life, it is embarrassing Madame Brigitte Macron. It is humiliating, her, because that's what Ketu will do. It will bring that humiliation along with it. And on top of that, it is attaching to the Lilith, which is just exposing basically the tainted things, because remember, when you talk about Lilith, we're talking about tainted ideas or tainted or controversies, all of these things. So Ketu just comes and just blabs, all of these things. But what I do see here, which I I worry obviously for Madame Brigitte Macron, because the Ketu of Candace Owens also gets conjunct with Madame Brigitte Macron's fortune, meaning that she will lose her money, she will lose some of the things that she values, if it's not in a financial, like liquid financial form, but there's some loss that she's going to experience. And of course she started to experience obviously the respect, because when you talk about Leo, we talk about respect. I mean, this is the king, the queen, right? So when you talk about Leo's king, it's queen, it's royalty, all of these higher ups, and she's now being humiliated through this Ketu, and at the same time she's losing fortune. And as I said, fortune could be just the status, just her status being lost. It could also be as I said, assets, liquid assets. It could also be just the respect that the society had for her being lost. And of course, I've seen many videos online, and I think you guys have seen, you've seen them too, whereby now even like footballers, they don't give her the respect. They just like looking at her in funny ways, in humiliating ways, so I really don't understand why she would want to sue Candace Owens, because it is humiliating. And at the same time, what I do see here when it comes to the overlays is that Candace Owens' moon, which is in Capricorn, it is overlaying in the 6th house of Madame Brigitte Macron. And when moon comes here, there is going to be problems at any given time. And what it does is that it will bring, oh my gosh, so many things that are going to be said about you, so many blames, so many just scandals that are going to be thrown at your name. And this is what is happening with Madame Brigitte Macron when it comes to this chart of Candace Owens, due to Candace's moon going there in that 6th house. Now it is being attached to the vertex and the Rahu of Madame Macron. So what I can tell from this conjunction alone of Candace's moon and the vertex and Rahu of Madame Macron, at some point it would not be surprising if we would hear news about Candace having a mental breakdown, or having paranoia, or stuff like this. So like it does bring a whole lot of drainage, in terms of her mental state, in terms of her emotional stability, in terms of her mental health, so there would be a change when it comes to Candace. And of course everything is alleged that I'm saying here, speculation. I'm using astrology. This is just me looking at the planets and translating what they say, therefore speculation, alleged. But I also do see with time, particularly if they don't come into a settlement, I do see Candace at some point having to take some debts, to finance either this case or, to pay relating to this case. So this is highly visible here. I also do see that there are lots, like when I say lots of hidden forces and hidden powerful networks at play and against Candace Owens, and they are going to be, one of those reasons whereby maybe she has this paranoia, and she starts to be mentally disturbed, like not well. I do see that. I do see, because I don't, as I said, I don't know her ascendant, but from me just looking or glancing at her chart, I have a high feeling that she's actually a Taurus ascendant, but I did not calculate. I don't have time to do that. In any case, in her Taurus ascendant, she's got the Jupiter and the Mercury. What it tells is that she's highly intelligent. Candace Owens is like highly intelligent, and she knows what to speak, how to speak. She's got all the information. She's got information comes to her, because remember, when we talk about Taurus, we talk about speech, how we speak. And Jupiter being with Mercury together, these are intellectual planets and knowledge planets, meaning that she's got the gossip, and she's got also the higher end of communication. So she's got all of that. Now when it comes to the overlays, she's got her Jupiter Mercury conjunct with the Jupiter of Madame Macron. She also has her Sun, which is with Venus, being conjunct with the Sun of Madame Brigitte Macron, which is with Mars, and it's in the 9th house. So 9th house and 10th house, these are public houses, and at the same time these are the houses that are ruled by government. So this is why I'm talking about both of them, because when we talk about Madame Brigitte Macron, she's not a normal person. She is a higher power, in our society, and therefore both of her houses are highly active in terms of this legal battle. Now, as I remind you, Madame Macron is a Leo ascendant. She's got Mars and Sun in the 9th house, highly empowered, meaning that she is going to win regardless. Yes, she's going to lose some money. Yes, she's going to lose some some status. She's going to lose ego. She's going to lose status in terms of respect, from normal people, because of the humiliation that she's going through. But when it comes to the court house, I am telling you, Candace, she is going to win. Madame Brigitte Macron is going to win. And I do see that this case is going to be sorted out within 4 years. It's not going to go beyond 4 years. And at the same time, you could experience so many problems, Candace, even in your relationship due to this legal thing. So watch out for that. As I said, Candace Owens is very smart, highly intelligent person, literally high intelligence here we're talking about. But at the same time, she's got this material personality whereby she likes to sacrifice herself to the point that she will lose a whole lot of things. And of course, she did say in her podcast that she's willing to, lay her, her life or something, she's willing to sacrifice something for the story to go out. And she has that personality which is not always protecting her or working for her, because at the end of the day she loses things just for the sake of being seen as that person who fought the good fight, so to speak, right? So I do see next year this whole legal thing escalating, literally taking another turn. So at this time, many personal stories could also be affecting Candace's life at this time. And so she must just take caution, and it's not about going after a powerful person or a political person. No, it is just a going against the chart of Madame Brigitte Macron. Her ninth house is solid. Like her ninth house, when it comes to legalities, is solid. She's highly protected with the Mars and the Sun in her ninth house and in Aries. So anybody who wants to go after Madame Brigitte Macron in terms of the legal cases, they must forget it. They must just give it up and say, well, okay, you know what, never mind. Because if she's the one who is starting the processes, she is highly likely to win all the time. So now, of course, it always depends on the transits, because when it comes to the transits, then the transits do change, the chart when it comes to maybe that period of time. And but on a natal point of view, this is happening now. She has the Chiron, which is transiting her ninth house. The Chiron just entered. So she could also, Madame Brigitte, she will also face some obstacles in terms of facilitating the legal side of things. But in the end, she wins. You get what I mean? She will have these her hassles because of the Chiron, and get hurt, disappointed here and there, by a certain judge maybe. But in the end, she wins, because the ascendant lord Sun is in the ninth house, in the authority, and it is with Mars, the ruler of the ninth house. So yeah. Well, now when it comes to the Chiron and the Mars of Candace Owens, which are in the 11th house of Madame Brigitte Macron, of course, in Gemini, talking things, hurtful things, because this is Chiron. Communication that is hurtful, communication that is assertive, communication that is like a battle. This is what has been happening due to that overlay of Chiron and Mars in her 11th house of Gemini. Gemini is media, Gemini is communication, Gemini, and the 11th house on top of that is the social media, all of it, YouTube, everything all together here. So of course it's going to hurt Madame Brigitte Macron, because Mars in Gemini is highly agitated. It just wants to say the most painful things, particularly because it is with Chiron. So ladies and gentlemen, this is why Candace Owens went after Madame Brigitte. It is due to these overlays that are just going for her chart from all angles, right? So good luck to everyone, and if you are in a similar situation in your life, don't suffer alone. Book with me, check if you have chances of winning against your enemy, and wow, good luck. So now, thank you to everyone, and I will catch you on the next one, because now we're going to go into the global predictions, and I know not everybody likes them, and so yeah, let me go in and go. So going into the global predictions, the time is now 5 minutes after midnight, and obviously the 21st, so just 5 minutes after midnight, 21st, and that's the date. And I will be probably uploading this in the early hours of the morning, so around 6 a.m. So I will be looking at the 21st as well, because obviously nothing has happened or that we've heard about for now as I'm recording this, 5 past midnight. Oh, so there's going to be a lot of movements in this week. So I'm looking at the week of 21st until maybe I can stop at maybe 25th or 26th, like early hours of the 26th. And so there's going to be an overlap of events, so therefore it's just making it difficult to go day by day, because a whole lot of events will be overlapping each other because of there's so many movements that will be happening. Why is this? Because remember, Sun has entered the Leo sign, but then it is with Ketu, and because the two are working in terms of opposing energies. Sun is all about me, shiny out there, ruling over people, giving orders, and Ketu is the opposite of that, is about, destroying the ego, humbling people, taking down the structures, isolating people from, vanity and their positions, so that they can learn to be humble. So because of these oppositions within the sign, we're going to have a lot of dominant, themes around leaderships, around people in the visible eye, in our public sphere. And remember, Mars is always still in Virgo, and because it is in Virgo, it's all about moving forward when it comes to action. So these are actions that are daily or delivered daily, and we see them being executed, towards the responsibilities, towards health, towards just, I would say, destruction of these themes of Virgo, like health, like daily routines, so there's a disruption in these things. And this is why, for example, we saw leaders who have been complaining or resigning or being lost because of health issues, like I talked about in my previous videos already, and I mentioned it regarding India back then. So we're having these themes continuing, and of course we have what is critical here, the Venus that just entered into the Cancer sign. Now, in my last video or the other video, I spoke about how Venus normally is happy to be in Cancer, right? But then things are different this time, and that's what I said. Why things are different this time? It is because Venus is coming here and it is meeting with Mercury, right? But at the same time, there is the Neptune and the Saturn, which are trying to it, and they are in a retrograde motion right now, so they're not giving the balance that is needed for Venus to be able to build in a solid and a structural way. So this will also mean, the relationships that are being formed whilst Saturn is a retrograde, they're not giving an assurance to last a long time, only this time. And then, it would be a different story if Saturn was in a forward motion, because then it would be giving the needed structure and support to the relationships that are being formed. So, or even like the gathering of resources. So meaning that whatever is being gathered now, there's a high chance of it being lost, like, soon, or just in a few years, if it's like a big asset and stuff like that. So there is that risk that is being brought with this Venus in Cancer right now. As I said, next year is going to be different story when it comes back to Venus, and Saturn will be in a forward motion at that time, obviously, right? So Now, because these movements are going to be overlapping, okay, so there is a whole lot of danger when it comes to leadership. Now, let me just say it like, when it comes to leadership, like how I predicted last time, that I was seeing a loss of the leader, and unfortunately the parliament member from Finnish, so there is a continuation of this loss of leaders, loss of leadership, because again, I must remind everyone, it is not by mistake, it is Ketu with Sun, loss of leader, distancing leaderships from people, from themselves. So we're going to see this playing out, and this week we would be like between the 21st, particularly between the 21st and the 23rd. Actually, it could be just throughout this whole period, 21st until the 26th, we would be having another loss of a leader. And this leader is somebody who's so great, and they're going, right, the last time it was a young person, and now it's going to be an older person, somebody who's a bit matured. So they will be above 50, like above 50 years old this time, because I do see a lot of exhaustion that they're feeling. So maybe they are exhausted in terms of health, or they are just exhausted because of age, of maturing. So I do see that, because remember again, there's the Saturn in Pisces, which is about endings, and Saturn is authority, and I do see it could have been somebody who has survived something before, like survived maybe a scare before, and so I do see the person being male, because then the wife or the spouse will have to endure a state of widow, being a widower, right? I do see that. However, when it comes to the 21st until the 23rd, I do see a woman, and somebody's asked me why, do I see things that are not so kind. It is not me, it is the stars. That's what they show. So if there's going to be news that are not kind, that's what's going to be shown. It's I have predicted before positive things, fun things, but it's life. It is like that. So I do see from the 21st until the 23rd a woman. So this woman is a woman who is known, and they may be known for telling the future, so to speak, or a prophet, like somebody who's got it. So they could be a prophet through their music, a prophet through their words, or whatever they do, right? So this person has been, or an advisor, somebody who's an advisor and that everybody goes to seek for direction. But what I do see is some danger to this woman, and so it's danger pertaining to something that they have said before. So maybe they said something which was not true, or they said a prophetic vision which was not true, and because of that they are being judged, or life is squaring up to them and coming to haunt them. So I do see something like that. So maybe it could be a singer, or it could be just pure psychic, you know, somebody who's psychic, who's known for being psychic, or who's telling the future, you know, all of these things. And when it comes to this part, you know, it could be relating to this woman, or, you know, it could be relating to another leader or another public figure. But I see somebody who's known for their hair, somebody who's very distinct because of their hair. Maybe they talked much about their hair, or they are known, you know, because of their hair. But I do see some loss regarding to that person. It's obviously we're going to know about it because of this distinct, you know, definition about their hair. So there's going to be this loss, you know, but then it could be the loss of status. So maybe a downfall, you know, like a downfall. So maybe they are, you know, exposed for something, or shamed for something, or they just lose the nobility. But as I said, it could also be loss, you know, of existence, because this week really it becomes very intense in terms of dangerous things. I do see also somebody who is well known, like very, very well known, somebody who has a royal status, like it's not necessarily royal by blood. It could be royal by, you know, how this person is worshipped by the public. And I do see a downfall of that person. So somebody who's known, it could be somebody again relating to the hair. So it could be somebody relating to the hair again. Somebody who's known of, maybe they wear a braid at some point, they've worn a braid. But somebody who is seen as a royal, you know, queen or king, you know, it could be king of music, queen of music, or it could be literal queen, king, you know, of you know, blood, royal. So I do see that within these days. I also do see a head of state. You know, by head of state, it doesn't necessarily have to be president. It could be a member of parliament, who this person is very manipulative, and the words that they speak now, they become you know, the aggressor of a conflict. And they could just come out and lie, particularly around the 21st and the 22nd. They could just come out and just say something that is totally about lies. And I see that. I also do see some, they said, yeah, just loss of health because of that Mars there in Virgo is really bringing up low vitality, being tired, being exhausted. And yeah, so there's literally like an isolation of somebody very important. And you know, it's so it's like It's like a lot of people, they're going to be confronted for their actions, actions they've done in the past, things that they've said in the past. So it's not even like about they deserve it, but it's just about life bringing in, a judgment, because of what they've said, or maybe just giving a warning, like a caution, like, okay, next time be cautious, if you survive, this event, or, accident, or you survive this a health scare right now, just be cautious moving forward about what you do, about what you say, so just bringing in that inner fear, right? So I see this like a cautionary tale, so to speak, right? And yeah, a huge downfall of a celebrity, as it's evident here. And so there is Sun in Leo is going to naturally bring a need to defend your ground, your crown, your castle, right? Naturally, that's gonna be brought. So a lot of people, they still over defensive, protective, and as we move closer, like from the 23rd until the 26th, okay, so basically going back to the 21st and the 22nd in terms of countries and, what happens to countries, like the countries that are now going to be highlighted in terms of the geopolitical synastry and what is happening. I do see Iran being highlighted right now. I do see a US always, China, news from SA. So there could be a contract being signed regarding the resources of Iran right now. So they could gain or sign a contract that will make them a gain in the long term, like investment wise. I see that. I also do see obviously Israel, or news from Pakistan, oh my gosh, okay, so India, 21st, 22nd. So the guys who have been like just on the news experiencing things, the 21st, the 22nd, early 23rd, they come again into the spotlight. And so when it comes to the 23rd until the 26th, what I do see here is so much drama. Oh my gosh, so much drama. I just see drama. I just see the continuation of the other days. I do see, yeah, so basically this whole period of 21st to 26th, we're expecting news regarding to a leader that is that could be taken out, a leader that could be imprisoned, a leader that could be put into isolation, a leader that could be exposed. There's so much, reckless behavior, a lot of deception here. So basically, whatever contracts are being signed here, particularly the 23rd, the 24th, these contracts are just no. So if a country signs a contract right now, 23rd, 24th, it's a contract that is not going to bring good results in the long run. It's a contract that is going to be based on greed or ulterior motives. So I see a lot of manipulation, a lot of cunning. My gosh, so many words are being said that are misleading right now. So of course it could also be things that are said in the public by leaders, at this time. A nice speech that is not necessarily good. So much heaviness, and just so this week very challenging, and 24th, 23rd, 25th, I do see somebody who's obviously when I speak about these things, it is the things that we're going to learn about them from the media, or they're going to come later on, even if they're not coming out of these days, but they will be happening during these days and coming out later. But I do see an endangered leader or somebody who's in the public eye, and they're going to be wounded. So there's going to be physical wound, and they're going to try to be healing from this wound. So it's a wound that needs to be healed, or maybe accident or whatever, but it's making this person try to cling to life, trying to hold their life together. So struggling, right? I do see also some captivity. So maybe we hear about somebody who's been captured, or they are tortured whilst they are in captivity, something like this. I do see planes. So I do see planes the whole week. So these planes are okay. So I do see danger coming through a plane. Okay, so when we talk about danger coming through a plane, it could be literally a plane crash, or it could be a military plane that is sent to attack a country or something, a structure. 24th, 23rd, oh my gosh, they just become so sad days, news, structure destroyed. So by structure, it could be literal structure, or it could be structure of authority, or authority figure, because remember, as I said, Ketu with Saturn, and with Ketu with the Sun in Leo, and at the same time Saturn retrograde. So this is why some news regarding to the Kardashian husband, Travis. I do see some news about him relating to him right now. Travis Barker. I see news around the 24th, the 25th. I see news about him. Right now, I see. It's just a heavy day. It's such a heavy day. 23rd through 24th, heavy day. I do see also from the 24th until the 26th, I see finalization of things. So could be finalization of maybe negotiations, because some countries, some leaders are really negotiating right now. So they negotiate, so they finalizing those negotiations. I see also just an end of life. It's not a good week. It's not a good week in terms of public figures, global things. I see what is happening. I see something relating to Destiny's Child. So maybe one of the group leaders has some news or news relating to them. I see untrustworthy speech, like people just being deceptive. I already said, like it's coming up so much. So basically about the people who are going to be on the news, like highly on the news, from the 23rd until the 26th, obviously always the main leader of the world, President Donald Trump. But we could also hear some news regarding to the Supreme Khamenei, and Russia is on the news. So of course, when we talk about the leaders of these countries, it could also be about their countries, so Iran, US. And I also do see that when it comes to other events happening, there's also a lot of impulsivity, whereby people are not necessarily taking time to plan, and they just all about thinking about their surroundings, or settling their surroundings, like guarding their surroundings, guarding their own resources. You know how I spoke about some news coming out of the Virgin Airlines, and indeed on the day Virgin Airlines was on the news, I see something similar regarding the 24th or the 23rd, and it could also be like in the early hours of the 25th, when it comes to both the Virgin Airlines and Delta Airlines. So these two airlines, or one of them, but these two airlines become again something being reported on the news. And yeah, so I think I should leave it at this point. And yeah, just take very good care of you guys and of yourselves, and love one another in your relationship, and don't let don't hold too much on your power, so just do everything in a balanced way. I'll chat to you soon. Thank you for now, and cheers, Bito, ciao.